Let's take a look at systems of equations, graphing with word problems. Anna plans to spend $30 on balloons and party hats for her daughter's birthday party. Including tax, balloons cost $2 each and party hats cost $1.50 each. The number of party hats Anna needs is twice as many as the number of balloons. If X represents the number of balloons and Y represents the number of party hats, write a system of equations that can be used to represent this situation. So they're giving you your two let statements already. They would like you to create two equations, graph them, and then look at the solution set. So the first one we're going to start off with is for items. Highlighted in blue, it says the number of party hats, which we know is Y, that Anna needs is, which is your equals indicator, twice as many as the number of balloons. And your number of balloons is your X value. So that's your first equation, already in correct form. We know that our M is going to be a 2, and our B, there is none, which means it's going to start at the origin. The second equation is now talking about money. They're saying that the balloons cost $2 each, and the party hats cost $1.50 each, and that Anna has $30 that she plans to spend. This equation needs a little bit more work, so I'm going to move the 2x to the other side. I now have 1.50y is equal to negative 2x plus 30. I want to get y by itself, so I'm going to divide everything by 1.5, which is the same as 1.50. And now I have y equals, in your calculator, when you do this, you're going to get a repeating decimal, but if you do math and press enter twice, it will give it to you in fraction form, which is negative 4/3 x, and then 30 divided by 1.5 is going to be 20. So remember that we don't want our slope to be a repeating decimal. We want to rise over a run, so we're going to use the fraction. So now I know that my m is equal to negative 4/3 and that my b is equal to 20. So let's get graphing. The first equation, I'm going to start at 0, and I've got a rise of 2 and a run of 1. So I'm going to continue that pattern all the way as far as I can, covering as much space on my graph as possible. And I'm going to connect with a straight line. Make sure you're using your straight edge. And I'm going to also put an arrow at the end, and I'm going to label it y equals 2x. So my first equation is finished. My second equation, I'm starting at 20, and I'm following my slope of negative 4, and then over to the right 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. As far as I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Now, this one is not going to get an arrow because if I connect all my points and I put an arrow, that would mean that my number of party hats is going to be negative, and that doesn't make sense. So we're going to leave that, and I'm going to label it with the original equation, 2x plus 1.50y is equal to 30. I'm going to circle my points of intersection, and if you go and look, this is going down to 6, and if you go across, that's counting by 1, so that's going to 12. So the question at the bottom says, state the coordinates of the point of intersection of your lines. So the coordinate is 6, 12. And then it says, explain what each coordinate means in the context of the problem. Well, 6 is representing the number of balloons. So Anna can buy 6 balloons. And then your y value, which is the 12, represents party hats. So she can buy 12 party hats. And that's the most it's costing to spend $30. Okay, so that's interpreting what the coordinate means in terms of the money that's given. Let's take a look at another example. Excuse me. 2 families went to Roller Coaster World. The Brown family paid $170 for 3 children and 2 adults. The Peckham family paid $360 for 4 children and 6 adults. Again, they're giving you your let statements. They're saying X is the price of a child's ticket in dollars and Y is the price of an adult ticket in dollars. Write a system of equations that models this situation. So we're going to have one equation for each family, okay? It's 3 children plus 2 adults is going to cost $170. And 4 children and 6 adults is going to cost $360. So while you're looking at these and might guess that you want to use elimination to solve, we do have to graph the system of equations. So it's really important that you make sure to identify which method you have to use to solve. So we need to get y by itself for both of these equations. So let's start with the first one. I'm going to bring the 3x over to the other side. 2y equals negative 3x plus 170. Divide everything by 2. And you're going to have y equals negative 3 over 2x. Take your 170 and divide it by 2, and you get plus 85. Okay, so I know that's going to be my first equation. My m is a negative 3 over 2. My b is an 85. Let's get the other equation into the correct format, and then we can get to graphing. Okay, so same situation. I want to move that 4x to the right side. 6y equals negative 4x plus 360. Divide everything by 6. Now I've got y equals negative 2/3 because we want to put that in simplest form. And 360 divided by 6 is just 60. So I've got an m of negative 2/3 and I've got a b of 60. So we need to graph both of these lines. Notice that since the units are the same, we can just count our slope like regular lines as if we would if this were not a word problem. So I'm starting at 85 and I'm going to go down 3 lines to the right 2 lines. Down 3 lines to the right 2 lines. So if these units were not the same, you could put these into your y equals and get a table and then plot those points to make sure that you're graphing them in the correct position. Okay, so that's going to be my first equation. Again, when I connect these, I'm not going to be putting an arrow because it doesn't make sense for this example to have an arrow, but I am going to label my equation 3x plus 2y equals 170. I'm now going to graph my second equation. I'm starting at 60 and I've got a slope of negative 2/3. Negative 2/3, negative 2 over 3, down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. Okay, going to connect, make sure you're using a straight edge. No arrows again for this example, but I am going to label 4x plus 6y is equal to 360. Circle your point of intersection where they're overlapping. It says state the coordinates of this point of intersection, which my x value is 30 and my y value is 40. And then again, it wants you to explain what this means in the context of the question. So 30 represents the cost for a child's ticket. So it costs $30 for a child's ticket. And then it is costing $40 for an adult ticket. So now they could come forward and say, how much will it cost for 5 children and 8 adults? And you could just use the information that you have to get a final value. All right, so make sure when you're reading these, you're being super careful and just following all the rules that we follow when we're graphing a system of equations.